is interesting, particularly if you are a researcher, because I believe these are buildings with their addresses that locations in this ghetto. This map depicts the ghetto general area. The places in black are the areas that the Jewish are supposed to be restricted to. Closer in view, area right in here. And the ominous key to this map, number 4, the woman's ghetto, the cemetery, 6, the execution site, the orphanage and children's hospital, parentheses, cynicism, the outpatients clinic, even greater cynicism, storage for robbed property, robbed meaning stolen by the Nazis, mass graves 2. Is to be gained by the foreigner amateur like myself from this array of fading pictures of the buildings in this area. For the historian, the writer, the cinematographer, the families of some of these people who want to put a place and face to the names in their history. This information you can get from books and you can read endlessly. I have. One of the real tragedies of this massive tragedies is that such museums, such photos, such cryptic, synoptic insights into individuals glosses sadly over the fact that many of them suffered a great deal, mentally and physically, between the time they saw the horror coming and months, years later, when they were fortunately given that background, executed or died. Waiting for the stalker, the killer in your home, to finally ferret you out in the closet you're hiding, that probably is the most frightening of the experience. A list apparently of those who died in an attempt to give some sense of scope to the human brain of the travesty, the monumental scope of it. How would our fragile, coddled human brains look at something like this and realize the enormity of our lives lost? You wonder if these posts were for somehow a strategy for stability of these cars in use. Look at these pictures of men in the military and ask yourself, had you been in Germany as a German, could you be one of these? This is the classic, endless, infinite picture you get from being between two mirrors. I must leave it up to you to try to understand what the symbolism is here. In the catch-22 of opening up that air vent door in the middle of winter, and it's cold versus the intense smell of excrement, urine, and death. Did either these Jews or their German controllers really know what was going to happen to them? I don't think so. Notice the smile on the man in the upper right. And the just natural curiosity of the rest. Here the delusion or illusion that they could take their belongings with them. A soup kitchen, perhaps? How does a group of humans, then or at any time, cope with the label of animal and evil, placed on them, in this case by their star, sewn onto their clothing to identify them. How do you manage the trek through history for several thousand years when this seems to be the endless, repetitious result? Look at this man, pleasantly complying. This woman, perhaps almost smiling, thinking that somehow this is not bad. Assuming they had a chance to do otherwise, did they choose their finest clothing to leave with? Things like this are best gained from Schindler's List, The Pianist, and other movies that attempt to realistically portray what these photographs give us a simple snapshot of. There's no way to empathize with the crowd fear, the anxiety, the wonder. How do you even put it into words? The means to get from one ghetto section to another, an already difficult burden because of malnutrition. Man, a Jew, who was head of the Jewish Council, was put in the catch-22 position by the Nazis of reducing the population of the ghetto by 20,000, or the Nazis would do it for him. So he went to the people and said, "Give me your children under the ages of 10 and all the old and sick. We must sacrifice them." What a horrifying, horrifying decision. This modern sculpture reflects a Jewish tradition, and that is that you leave a stone on the gravestone of loved ones. The list of those who were killed goes on. These symbols look to be letters of an alphabet, but I don't really know.